Hey everybody, it's Danielle here. This video is going to be very raw and unedited. I just got off of work and I'm very tired. I just recorded another video, but I am challenging myself to not say a certain word because I say that word often when I'm going off the top of the dome. So it might sound like I'm concentrating a lot in this video, but I'm trying to stay away from a certain word. You all can probably guess what it might be, but I am not even going to say it because I'm trying to avoid saying it, okay? But I wanted to come on and talk about a certain topic. And I've been thinking about this topic for a while. And I just want to put it out there and share my thoughts. I am actually glad that I am creating another video because the other one was a bit long and I don't want to put very long videos up yet. So if you are new to watching my content, I don't have as you can see, I don't have a lot, but I am, my name is Danielle and I am the owner of Paintin' and Poppin' Traveling Paint Parties LLC, which is a mobile paint party service in which we put on private home paint parties for clients. I also do public paint parties. I just did a public event over the weekend. We have a good old time. I teach parties for adults, children, any age in between. And I wanted to come on because I'm this these first few videos. I do have shorts on the page already, but these first few videos are because this has kind of been on my heart and where my time can be. I can actually devote time to do something like this. But this beginning content is going to be where I am in my small business beginning entrepreneurship journey. And Paint and Poppin' has been in existence for 4 years, but I still very much feel like I'm a beginner. So that's kind of where my perspective is coming from. So hopefully my videos can reach those of you who maybe have an idea and you haven't started your business yet, or maybe you're kind of in the same position I am, or maybe you are like first or second year your business and you need help, especially for those of you who have creative businesses. So like I said, I'm a painter, I'm an artist, so my business is focused on the arts. You may not have a paint party business, but I am going to be expanding. I've expanded a little bit in the past, but I'll continue to expand what I offer. And in that journey, in this journey, I am positioning myself to become a brand, right? So, how do you position yourself as a brand? And what are some of those things that you have to keep in mind as you are on this journey to become a brand? One of the things that I've been thinking about recently is having boundaries as a business owner. Excuse me. And these boundaries, they can show up in your policies. So, what in your policies will you accept and not accept? This can be a personal thing. So, even though these boundaries may not be listed in your policies and page in your contract and things like that, what are some things personally that you will or won't accept, or like morally, right? So there are some things that people, as a business owner, people may ask you to do that you just won't accept, or things that you may not identify with within your character. You might consider them values. I wanted to stray away from the values term because I do think they're more like boundaries. What guide do you have to keep you focused in your business and not have you just doing everything all over the place, or just doing anything somebody asks you to do, right? Or compromising some things that you might not want to compromise on. So for instance, um, And nobody has ever asked me to do this. It's kind of come up in conversation with people before. But one of the things, and it's no knock to anybody who does this, but I don't necessarily identify with doing like a twerk and paint or like trap and paints or whatever. I play music at my parties, and I might play, depending on the crowd, I might play some trap music or whatever. But like at my public parties where I am opening the event up to the public, I would never advertise. And let me not say never. I don't want to say never. Because we don't know what I'm doing now. 5, 6 years ago, I had no idea. So, I don't want to say never, but right now in my life, I wouldn't do a twerk and paint. And it's nothing against twerking, like twerk, 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 right? But as far as like in my business, I wouldn't necessarily do that and promote that. And I want to stay away from like the respectability politics of it. It's just something I don't identify with. Another thing that like logistics and structural things, like continuing to do a party if people are late. That may be something that, now, I won't say party because maybe you don't have a service-based business and you're not doing paint parties. If you are, hey, but if you have another service, maybe you won't, like if a client is late, you won't do their taxes. That's just throwing it out there, right? I'm very lenient on people being late, depending upon the situation. Okay. Now I've had a range of things. I had someone who was late and it was like really like mad annoying, and it wasn't that like typically your guests are gonna be late, but like the person was late, like the client was late themselves, and so that was really like um that was, to me, it was rude, right? But sometimes we have guests that are late, so I'm somewhat lenient depending on my time. Now I know in the future that's probably something that I'm gonna have to crack down on it, and I have something in my policies, but I think as I move towards full time entrepreneurship, full time business ownership, there are certain things that I am gonna have to crack down on because right now my time is very limited. But once I move towards full time, I'm going to have to start valuing my time even more because I'm going to be more dependent on myself and my business for income, right? From a sole income. So my time is going to be very valuable. So that's something that I'm in my mind. I'm going to start actually just communicating my policies more about that, right? Now, there's something that I don't crack down on anymore, and that's due to experience, and that's making sure people pay the deposit. Making sure people pay the deposit for the parties is very important to me. So that's something I don't I don't mess with that. Um, so sometimes we have relationships with people, and that kind of helps. But I want to get to a point where it's like the people that I have close relationships with, I need to be more direct with them. That'll help me improve being direct with people who I may not necessarily know. So, yeah, so like I said, or maybe I didn't say this, but your boundaries and your value, the things that you want to stick by, they may not be the same as me. Okay, depending on your business or your idea, it may not show up the same way. But you got to stand on something, right? So the saying is, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Sometimes I get requests that I have no interest in doing. Like, my business is set up and is structured in a way that the time that I'm going to spend, it makes sense, right? So if I'm going to spend a certain amount of time with you, and the profit that is going to, like, the return on investment, right? If it's not matching up, then I'm probably not going to take on that offer. So I've gotten certain requests in the past where it's like, oh, we have all the supplies, just come and teach. I don't even have like, I don't have a model for that, because that's just nothing. That's like going to me, and I guess in most people's eyes they don't see it this way, but that's like going into a brick and mortar paint party studio and saying, "Oh, here are all the supplies, you just teach." Because my thing is, I bring the party to you. So, and some people may do that. Some paint party instructors, they may have that in their policies, where they just have like a instructor fee, and that's great. That's because they're comfortable with that. For me, I'm not that I'm not comfortable. It's just that the way my time's set up, once you put in party, I'm starting to think about everything I need to do. If everything I need to do, you have all of that, I can't plan that. So, you just have to be aware of who you are and the vision for your business, what the vision for your business is, right? So, again, your principles, standing on your principles, that's another term in addition to boundaries, is principles, right? So, what are some of the core principles that you have for your business? That's important. And like I said, I'm not an expert at this. I'm still learning, but I need to go back into my principles and my vision and my purpose. You have your business statement and everything that you develop when you're starting, but it's always a good idea to revisit those items, right? Revisit those documents, revisit your heart to see what you want to do and what you will not do. So, I think that's all I wanted to say today about this topic, but it's just something to think about. A lot of times when new business owners are starting out, we want to do everything. We want to take it all on because the hustle culture has told us that we have to hustle and get it where we can fit it and do everything under the sun. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do, if it's not fitting, if it's not in alignment with what you're offering, whether it's a product or a service or whatever it might be, you don't have to do that. And so I've learned through other people. I've learned through mistakes that I've made in the past. And when I say other people, I mean like other business owners and some things that they do or don't do, or conversations I hear about that they don't really like doing. And I think for the common individual or the everyday individual, it's like, why wouldn't you do that? You'd be so great at it. It's easy for you to do. It'd be easy money. But sometimes certain things just aren't worth the stress. So you got to figure out what's gonna help build you up and build your business up, and ultimately what you want your brand to stand for, because you are your brand. It's not just about one component of your business, but you're basically building a brand. So how do you want people to see your brand? Do you find, will you, I don't want to say comfortable, do you feel comfortable doing church events and twerk and paints? And that's, if you, some of you might, right? Or do you see more value in, well, if these people see me doing this, they may not want me for that, right? So sometimes you do have to make decisions on what again, I didn't want to use values, but sometimes you do have to make decisions on what values you want to abide by, morally and whatnot. So, and I'm not like a big like stickler for, I have to look this way and I have to do this, but just the being comfortable part is important. So, yeah, that's just something to think about. If you are a new business owner, or you're thinking about maybe coming up with some ideas, as a new business owner, you think you just have this one idea. But as you go throughout the years and you are implementing that idea, we're, especially if you're in the creative side of things, or even if you're not, because if let's say you are trying to think of, You got a cleaning business. Let's say you have a cleaning business. Um, Although it's not necessarily a creative business, you created that. You had a vision. You are a creator, right? So as initially we think, oh, I gotta get it. I want to clean everybody's house. I want to clean everybody's building. But you might, throughout your journey, you might go into some spots like, never do that again. Checking that off, right? So you have to, and then that helps you narrow down your business as well, because you're gonna wear yourself out if you're doing everything. So I hope that analogy helped for anybody who's struggling with understanding what I'm saying. It's not that difficult. I don't think you are, but just in my mind, I try to think of different ways to present information so that it makes sense to anybody, regardless of what type of business you have or what service you're thinking about doing. So I am so tired, but I did want to pop in and just give this little nugget to the YouTube sphere, right? Or anybody who comes across this video. And I think, a couple years from now, after I built this channel, I'll probably revisit this topic. And now I have a nice clean look to my videos. And I'll have like a edited cover for me doing some pondering. Like, how veteran YouTubers have, or content creators. But right now, I'm giving it to you raw because I need to build this channel up. And I don't have the time right now to do that type of editing and get all my social media reels and all that stuff. So I'm taking it one step at a time, but I do want to start building this channel. So I wanted to pop in. Eventually you'll see me do some painting on the YouTube channel, right? I know you want to see that. But yeah, before I say again, I'm gonna get off this video. I think I did a really good job this video. So I said it a few times, but for the most part, I was thinking about not saying it. I wasn't thinking about not saying it. I was thinking about alternatives. The key is to pause. That's the major key. You got to pause when you're thinking about saying it. And it seems like, oh, I sound weird, but I think it paces you too. So yeah, all right. Well, I will talk to you all later. Sometime soon. Hang in there. If you're having a rough time, keep going. And if you're having a good time, hey, right? That's what we want to have. So I will catch you all on the flip side. Thank you for tuning in.